before you go live or after, I don't know, so that then you're not sideways like I was, I think. I think that this is right. Okay. All right. Okay, hello. So we're going to be twisting again today, this month. We'll start in Upavishta Konasana, wide-legged seat. And you can sit as wide as you feel comfortable today. And so the very first component of twisting is really finding something stable underneath you. Good morning, you're just in time. All right, so you're taking your wide-legged seat, and as you sit here, you're creating stability through your legs by pressing out through your heels. And your hands are just here to help you stabilize. The second part of twisting is creating some length. So allowing your lower back to draw in and up. Just take a big breath here. And then we're going to use our core to turn first. Turn towards your right knee. And then bring your left hand outside of your right knee. So you're pressing out through your heels, lengthening up through your lower back, and you've used your core to start to turn your rib cage. Come back to center, and then go ahead and turn to your left knee, and bring your hand just outside your knee. Introducing the idea of twisting this morning. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. Good, and then put the right hand behind you, turn back to your left knee, hand outside your left knee. And so as we twist and create that length, we want to work to keep the collarbones broad. If it's possible, come a little forward, slide your hand to your calf. If that's too far, just stay upright. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Good, and then put your left hand behind you, turn to your right knee, or left knee, and bring your hand to the outside of your knee or your calf. Collarbones are broad, chest is lifted. Good, and then one more time, coming back to your right knee. Hand outside your knee, hand outside your calf, or if it's available this morning, hand all the way down to your foot. Press out through your heels and lift up through your lower back. Good, and then come all the way back up. Turn to your left knee, hand to the knee, hand to the calf, or hand to the foot. Together, take a long breath in and a long breath out. Good, come all the way back up to center. Bend your right knee, bring your heel into your pelvis. Good, and keep your left leg long. We're going to try to keep the left sit bone heavy towards the ground. It's probably going to lift a little bit. Turn to your right knee. Bring your hands to either side of your right knee. And then we're going to hinge at the hips forward. So that left sit bone might start to lift up, but you're trying to keep it heavy and press out through the left heel. And now at this angle, walk your left fingertips out until they stop. Just the tips of the fingers on the ground. And go ahead and bow your head. 3 big breaths. Excellent. Come all the way up. And now extend your right leg out long. Bend your left knee, bring your heel into your pelvis. Good. Lengthen that lower back up. Turn to your left knee, hands, fingertips on either side of your left knee. From your hips, hinge forward. Feel that right sit bone. And now walk the right fingertips out, tips of the fingers on the ground. One more deep inhale, and then come all the way back up. Okay, last little seated prep position. Bring your feet into Baddha Konasana. So this is one of the Virabhadrasana twists, number 3. We're going to bring the left heel to the outside of your left hip, folding the knee. And then your right foot, the inner arch of it, you're going to bring it into your knee to stabilize the leg. This twist we're going to initiate from the pelvis. You're going to let the left hip turn as you bring your hands to the outside of your right thigh. Good. And stay right where you are. I'm just going to turn a little bit myself here. So hands are outside of your thigh. And then you're going to bend your arms like you're doing chaturanga. Keep the chest and the gaze out in front of you. And again, walk the left fingertips out. This time, rather than bowing the head, you're going to press into your right hand, lift your chest up, and turn your chest towards that right thumb. You guys look really good. This is really active in that right arm and that right shoulder. Great. One more breath in. And then come all the way back up. And extend your right leg long and your left leg long. Taking it to the other side, right foot to the outside of your right hip. Good. Left inner arch is going to come to your knee. Excellent. You're going to let the right hip turn with you, the pelvis and the spine working together as you bring the hands to the outside of your left thigh. Good. And then from here, you're going to come forward, keeping the chest and the gaze out in front of you. Walk the right fingertips out. And keep the gaze up, back of the head lifting. 3 big breaths. And as you exhale, turn the chest towards that left thumb. Regina, how's that wall? One more breath. Okay, come all the way back up. Extend both legs out in front of you. Dandasana, staff pose, hands by you. So for twisting, concept 1, we're going to stabilize something so we can twist around it. We're going to create good length, lower back, in and up. We're going to have a strong core, collarbones broad, and the back of the head is going to try to stay in line with the back of the rib cage. Take a deep breath in. Great, and then downward facing dog, exhale. As you change position, your hands and your feet now become the anchor. Press down and away, and try to send the hip creases up really high. In fact, come to the tips of your toes and lift your hips up as high as you can. Try to relax your neck. And then try to keep that height in your hips and just sink the heels down. Together, take a long breath in and a long breath out. Raise your right leg to the sky. Step your right foot forward, bring your back knee down to the ground. And then reach your arms overhead. Half Gomukasana. Take your left hand to your upper back and your right hand to your elbow. And here, your head position looks great. Chin is parallel to the floor. The back of the head is pressing into the arm. Good. Eagle arms. Take your left elbow underneath your right elbow. And twisting brings our awareness into our back body and our side body. Bring your left hand down to the floor, lift your back knee up, and just a simple twist. Reach your right arm up. Downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your left leg up. Step Step forward, bring your back knee to the mat. Reach your arms overhead. Half go Mukasana, right hand to your upper back, left hand to your elbow. Every spot you find yourself in, see about that deep breath. And then eagle arms, right elbow under left. One more full breath into your back. And right hand down to the mat. Lift your right knee up and reach your left arm up. An unrushed, intentional practice. One more breath in. Downward facing dog. Raise your right leg to the side, breathe in. Step forward, bring your back knee to the mat. Hands to both knee, or one knee, come up. Keep your left hand on your knee, and now a deep side bend. Reach your right hand down to the ground. So we're going to do a lot of lengthening of the outer hips here to prepare us for twisting. When the hips are tight, it can limit your ability to rotate your spine. Keeping the weight down in your hands, you can stay right here or you can reach your left arm up. There are some poses that take me a minute to get to that spot. Like if I do a child's pose, it takes me a minute to get my head actually down on the ground. Keeping your chest lifted, you can stay right here or bend your left elbow and grab a hold of your ear. Let the breath be your guide. Downward facing dog. Nature changes every day. The body changes every day. And you greet it. Lift your left leg up, inhale. Step forward, back knee down. Hands on your front knee, lift your chest. Keep your right hand on your knee, reach your left fingertips down to the ground. You can let the front of your pelvis turn away from the front thigh a little bit. Good, and then stay right here or reach your right arm up. Stay right here or keeping the chest lifted, bend your right elbow and hold your ear. One side may be a little smoother than the other. One more breath. Downward facing dog. Again, come as high up onto your toes as you can. Lift your hip crease up to where the back wall meets the ceiling. And then try to keep that height in the hips and drop your heels down. Together, take a long breath in. Open your mouth wide. Look forward, walk or jump up to your hands. Halfway lift from your hip creases, move your chest forward, and then bow into your legs. Stand up, reach your arms to the sky, and exhale, hands to your heart. And just take a moment here to set your intention for practicing. And then our anatomical intention of twisting will help us turn all around that. Together, one arm, breathe in. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Stand up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Stand up, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Step your right leg back, bring your knee to the ground. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, plank. Lower down onto the floor, forearms down for Sphinx pose. Place your elbows underneath your shoulders and lift your chest up, elongating your spine. Forearm plank, exhale, creating that nice strong core. Together, take a long breath in. Lower yourself down to the ground. Sphinx, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Raise your right leg to the sky, breathe in. Step forward, back knee to the mat. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, step forward and fold. Halfway lift, a nice long spine. Bow forward, exhale. Stand up, reach up, feel your heels in the ground. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Forward bend, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Left leg back, knee to the ground. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, plank. Take a full breath in. Exhale, Sphinx. Forearms down, breathe in. Forearm plank. A nice long inhale. Lower down to Sphinx. Feel the ground, lift the chest. Downward facing dog. Left leg up, inhale. Step forward, back knee down. Inhale, reach up. You're in charge of the intensity. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Stand up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Forward bend, just like taking a walk. Halfway lift, inhale. Right leg back, knee to the ground. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, plank. Take a full breath in. Lower down onto the ground, locust pose. Reach your arms back. And so in back bending and also in twisting, we're always looking for a quality of evenness. Through the low back, the mid back, the upper back. If instead you feel intense sensation, you want to change the angle of the body. Lowering a little, lengthening a little more. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up, breathe in. Step forward, back knee down. Inhale, arms overhead. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Stand up, reach your arms up. Reach up through your ring fingers. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Fold, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Left leg back, knee to the ground. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to plank. Lower down onto the ground, reach your arms back, locust pose. As the pelvis anchors, the lower back lengthens, the collarbones are broad. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Step forward, back knee down. Inhale, arms up. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Stand up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your heart. Chair pose, breathe in. Feel where your hip creases are. Sit them down and back, and then pull the chest forward and up. Inhale. Forward bend, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Step your right leg back. Keep the knee up for high lunge. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, plank pose. Take a full breath in. Lower to the ground, cobra pose. Hands a little bit in front of your shoulders, a little bit wider. Lift the chest like locust, and then put a little bit of leverage into the hands. From here, elbows draw in, collarbones draw out. You don't have to fight with nature. You can take your hands wider if you want to, left to right. And then notice your face. Okay, one more breath. Downward facing dog. That's a really hard pose for a lot of people to learn. And then a lot of people seem to fall in love with it once they figure it out. Raise your left leg or right leg to the sky. Step your right foot forward, high lunge. Inhale, arms overhead. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Bend your knees, chair pose. Stand up, hands to your heart. Chair pose, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Halfway lift, breathe in. Left leg back, high lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, cobra pose. Anchoring into the ground. Even sensation through the back. Collarbones broad. Downward facing dog. Left leg up, breathe in. Step forward, high lunge. Inhale, reach up. Step forward and fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Bend your knees, chair. Stand up, hands to your heart. Going the other way, chair pose, breathe in. Sit on the floor, boat. Lift your heels, knees wide, sink down. You have hands if you want them. Okay. Anchor to the ground. Lower back up. Collarbones broad. Core is being forced to work. Low boat, exhale. Lower ribs pull down. Come back up high boat. Life skill. Getting up, right? Cross your ankles, roll forward into plank. Inhale. Chaturanga, come forward. Upward dog, collarbones broad. Downward facing dog, exhale. Take that deep breath in. Empty the air out. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, long spine. Forward bend, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in. Stand up, hands to your heart. Chair pose. Boat pose. Low boat. Just taking a walk. Come back up high, go across your ankles, roll forward into plank. Inhale. Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Really nice. Take a long breath in. Exhale. And jump to your hands. Catch the in-breath. Forward bend. Chair pose, inhale. Stand up, hands to your heart. Great. We're going to do a little more outer hip opening now. Chair pose. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Good. Totally hold the wall. Hold on to a railing. If you've got a chair there, go ahead and hold that. We're going to sink the hip crease down. And as we come forward, left hand to the bottom of your heel, where a heel on the shoe would be. Right hand to the floor, a block, a water bottle. Try to pull the chest forward so you're lengthening the spine. Great breath. Good, and then come all the way back up, foot down to the ground. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift. And now bend your left knee. Bend your left knee. And put your left hand on the floor, keeping the spine halfway lifted. Turn to the right, reach your right arm up. This is revolve triangle with a parallel stance. Continuing to open that right outer hip. One more breath. And then hand down. Okay, now you're going to step your left foot in front of your right foot and then to the outside. So your legs are crossed and your left leg is in front. If you can, you're going to fold forward here. If that's too much, stay halfway lifted or even put blocks underneath your hands. I'm going to try to press into the right hip and pull the right thigh in. And then if you'd like to, bend the left knee a little more. One more breath. Stand up and normalize your stance. Okay, chair pose, breathe in. Bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. This is flying pigeon, a variation of it. Your left hand can come down to the ground. Your right hand to the bottom of your left heel. Down here, it's a little more stable than way up there when you're standing upright. The lower you can get to the ground, the more grounded you get. From the stability of the earth, pull the chest forward. One more breath. And then stand all the way up, foot to the ground. Maybe a little head rush. Inhale, reach up. Bow forward, exhale. Halfway lift. Bend your right knee. Place the right hand down. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, turn. Left arm to the sky. Right knee bent. Drive that left heel down. One more breath. Hand down to the ground, and now step the right foot in front of the left till it's outside of the left foot. This is Gomukhasana with straight legs. Press into that left heel. And now as much as you want to, bend the right knee. Great. One more breath in. And stand up. Normalize your stance. Chair pose, breathe in. Bring your right thumb into your right hip crease. And your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. From here, first, press the thumb and pull the chest forward. And then as you exhale, turn to the right and maybe bring your hands into prayer, only if you want to. One more deep breath. Bow forward, exhale. Chair pose, breathe in. Left thumb in the left hip crease. Right elbow outside the knee. Pull the chest forward. Turn on the exhale. Keep these hands if you want them, or hands in prayer. The arms are for expression. One more breath. Bow forward, exhale. Walk yourself into plank pose. Lower all the way down onto the ground. Reach your arms back, locust. Sama, evenness, low back, mid back, and upper back. Even those parts of the spine move differently. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up, breathe in. Step forward, back knee to the ground. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms out to the side. Take a breath. And turn to the right. Stay right here if you want to. Or bring your left hand outside your right knee. Chest is lifted, collarbones are broad. Stay right here, or bring your left elbow outside your knee and your right thumb into your hip crease. Press into the thumb, pull the chest forward, and perhaps fold your hands in prayer. Check in with your breath. Stay right here, or take your right hand to your thigh. Move your chest a little more to the right, and maybe your armpit can come all the way down onto your knee. Pull the chest forward. And then you can stay right here, or maybe those left fingertips come to the ground outside the leg. And if they don't, they don't. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Maybe you reach your right arm up to the sky. One more breath. Downward facing dog. 3 full breaths here after that deep twist. Letting your system neutralize. Take another long breath in. Exhale the air out. On your inhale, lift your left leg to the sky. Step forward, back knee to the ground. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms out to the side. Take a full breath here. And turn to the left. This is just using your core to turn your spine. Stay right here, put your right hand outside your knee. Good, stay right here, or put your right elbow outside your knee. Left thumb into your hip crease, pull the chest forward, perhaps hands in prayer, turning towards the intention. This might be enough, or left hand to the thigh, move the chest a little more to the left. Maybe that right armpit comes all the way down. Maybe you have too much COVID pandemic cookies in your belly and it's hard to get down there. Still a good person. You can stay right here. Maybe that right hand comes all the way down to the floor. Check your breath. Stay here or reach the left arm up to the sky. One more breath in. Downward facing dog. Again, 3 full breaths so we can kind of just come back to normal. A new normal. one with a little bit less tension throughout your spinal column. Together, take a long breath in. Exhale the air out. On your inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Step forward, warrior two. The warrior two family of poses is also a twisting series, but it's an open body twist. As you set your front knee over your ankle, you're turning your pelvis away from your front thigh until it stops. You're turning your ribs away from your front thigh until it stops. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Reverse warrior, flip your front palm, reach up and back, side body stretch. Side angle, right elbow to your knee, upper arm over your head. Turn your chest away from your thigh. One more breath. Back to warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Bring your left hand to your hip. From here, allow your pelvis to rotate as much as it needs to bring your right hand down to the floor outside your right ankle. Good, so you just see how you have to adjust yourself to find the ground there. Then keep your pelvis, or hand on your pelvis, start to turn the left hip away from the front thigh just till you feel like you should stop. The lower back, the sacrum is harmonious. From here, left hand's gonna come to your rib cage. Take a breath. As you exhale, start to turn your rib cage without moving your pelvis, just till you stop. And then you can stay right here, or reach that left arm up to the sky. So this is a slightly different variation of triangle for many of our bodies, emphasizing the point of twisting and rotation, and taking the time to notice how your pelvis and your ribs want to turn. One more breath. Half moon, bend your front knee, slide forward until you're standing on your right leg. Still in an open body twist. Feel the ground. Elongate. Catastrophe avoided. Step back, warrior two. Good, wide-legged forward bend. Turn your toes to the left, interlace your hands at your lower back. Inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Most of the families of poses share similar qualities, starting with creating some stability that allows for freedom of movement. Press your heels down, lift your thighs up, and let your pelvis freely rock forward over the thighs. Release your hands to the ground. Lift up halfway to standing. And now bring your right hand to the floor beneath your chest and your left hand to the back of your pelvis. Keeping your pelvis level, lift your chest a little higher. Feel free to put something underneath your right hand if you want to. And now we're going to turn just the chest to the left. This is twisting with a fixed pelvis. For many bodies, there's not that much movement here. Bring your left hand down to the floor and your right hand to the back of your pelvis. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale, turn to the right. And you may notice that you turn easier to one side than the other. hands to the front of your mat, plank pose. Inhale and plank. Lower all the way down onto the ground. Bring your forearms down for Sphinx pose. Inhale. Forearm plank, exhale. Together, breathe in. Dolphin, lift your hips and walk your feet forward. Use your forearms pressing down into the ground to lift the chest and create length through your armpits, through your side waist, all the way up through your hip crease. Take a full breath in. Walk your feet back, forearm plank. Breathe in. Lower down to Sphinx. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. On your inhale, lift your left leg up. Step forward, warrior two. Reverse warrior inhale. Side angle exhale. Back to warrior two. Triangle, but our special way. Right hand to your hip. Let the pelvis turn and bring the left hand down to the floor outside of the ankle. Now you can adjust your feet a little wider here if you want to as well. From the ground, lengthen the chest forward. And now, hands to the ribs, turn the ribs up. Just have this experience in your body this morning or this evening, whenever you're doing it. If you want to reach the right arm up, you go for it. One more breath. Half moon, just like triangle, but you're standing on one leg. Step back, warrior two. Wide-legged forward bend. Bind your hands at your lower back. Lift your chest. Bow forward, exhale. As you create stability and let the pelvis move freely, the spine lengthens. Give a little pull between your fingers so as the front of the chest opens, the collarbones, you're engaging those muscles on the front of the shoulder. Together, inhale. Exhale, release your hands to the ground. Lift up halfway to standing. Right hand to the floor or a block, left hand to the back of your pelvis. Keep the chest lifting. Turn to the left. But now, let the pelvis move with the spine. Turn the hips towards the left as well. It's going to feel like the left hip hiking up and the right hip lowering. You can stay here or reach your left arm up. When the pelvis and the spine move together, there's often a lot more freedom of movement. Good, and then bring the left hand down, right hand to the back of the pelvis. Lift the chest, inhale, and turn to the right. Ribs, hips. If you want to reach the right arm up, you do. Twisting with a fixed pelvis, like we did before, is good for people with lower back issues. Twisting with the pelvis, moving into the twist like this is good for people who have sacroiliac problems. So you have to know what your obstacle is. One more breath. Hands to the front of your mat. Plank. Inhale and plank. Bring your knees down. Come all the way onto the ground. Forearms down for Sphinx pose. Good. And now from here, we're going to strengthen the full circumference of the core with our 30-second holds. So first, a 30-second forearm side plank. Roll onto your right hip. Now you can keep your right forearm parallel to the front of your mat if you want, or I like a 45-degree angle, so my fingers are towards the left corner of my mat. Ready? On your mark, get set, and go. Lift your hips up. Now, you can keep your left hand on the ground if you want to, or you could reach it up to the sky. You could reach it over your head towards the front of the room. You could also be bringing your hips down and then lifting them back up. There's not one way to do this practice. One more breath. Lower yourself all the way down. And then moving on to the other side, I'm going to turn around so I can still see the clock. Left hip down, left forearm down, adjusted. And go ahead and lift up. You'll remember from our core work last month, every inhale you're strengthening the roof of your core. And every exhale, as you pull the pelvic floor up, you're strengthening the floor of your core. Great, and just one more breath in. Lower yourself all the way down, back into Sphinx pose. And now we're going to do the forearm plank for the front wall of the core. Go ahead and lift yourself up. Resting in the breath, just like you're taking a walk. Last full breath in, and lower everything down. Last thing, back of the core, locust pose. Reach the arms back, and lift everything up. I remember doing some certain things for a minute or 2 minutes in practice, and then listening to my kids whine at me, and I was like, I can do anything for a minute. Deep breath. Downward facing dog. Feel how you feel in your body right now. Together, a long breath in. Exhale the air out. And jump up to your hands. Catch the inhale, halfway lift. Forward bend, exhale. Stand up, reach your arms to the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. Great, and then from here, we're going to move into one final round of standing twist. Step your left foot halfway back on your mat. Feel both heels and adjust your feet as you need to. And then bind your hands at your lower back, so your collarbones are nice and broad. Come halfway down. From here, bring your left hand down to the floor or a block, keeping that lift in your chest. Pull the chest forward. Inhale. Exhale, turn to the right. Now you could just turn the ribs. That's one way to twist. You won't go as far. Or you can turn the hips as well. You can keep your right hand down or reach your right hand up. 3 breaths. Nice adjustment. Okay, stay twisted, just come forward, revolve, half moon, the back leg lifts up. One more breath. Downward facing dog. Take a long breath in. Exhale. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Chair pose, inhale. Stand up, hands to your heart. Good, and now step your right foot halfway back on your mat. Find your hands at your lower back. Inhale. Come halfway down. And so here, adjust your feet as you need to, so your legs are stabilizing your pelvis and creating space to rotate. Keeping the chest lifted, bring your right hand down to the floor. Good, and then turn your variation of revolve triangle. Revolve, half moon. One more breath. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale the air out. Move forward, and we're going to come onto our seat for some seated twists before we go into back bending. Me too. All right, and now, so the first one we're going to do is Virabhadrasana 1. Of course, I forgot my block again. So some of you guys have blocks in here, so I'm going to walk you through using a block. And then those of you at home may not even have a block, so I'll show you the other way too. All right, so I'm going to turn around on you for a minute so you can see. We're going to be kneeling. Now, if kneeling is problematic to you, no problem. You're just going to sit in easy pose and then do everything else from there. For those of you that are kneeling and have a block, you're going to put your right foot into the arch of your left foot. This is if you have a block. Right foot into the left foot. And then you're going to sit back and you're going to put your block underneath your left sit bone. Okay. For those of you who don't have a block, you're just going to sit in normal hero's pose. Or you're sitting in your cross-legged easy pose. So first, just creating that stability at the base so that we have something to turn around. From here, bend your right elbow into that platter pose shape. And then we're going to put the left arm behind the back. So you're going to turn the arm inward and then bring your elbow to your ribs, and maybe your left hand can find your right bicep. If it doesn't, you can strap it, or you can just work towards it and just have your hand like pressing into your waist. And then your right hand's going to come down. So we've got something stable. Lower back is lengthening up. And that arm into the lower back can help to remind you to lift up and keep your collarbones broad. From here, use your core to turn yourself to the left, and then maybe a little external rotation or external leverage, walking your right fingers across your lap till maybe they find your left leg. And listen, if you followed all those directions and you're not giving up yet, you're going to win the day for sure. Okay, one more breath. And come back to center. Okay, those of you who are just sitting on your knees, you're going to stay. Or if you're in cross-legged position, just switch which shin is in front so you get an even twist. And then those of you who are working with a block, now you're going to bring your left foot into the arch of your right foot. Left foot in the right foot, and then as you sit back, the block's going to go underneath your right sit bone. establishing your seat. Bend your left elbow. Take your right arm behind your back. See if you can grab that left bicep. Now this might come easier on one side than it did on the other, or harder. Left hand to your thigh. Inhale. Exhale, turn to the right. So you'll remember from core, every inhale, we're just letting ourselves inhale. And as we exhale, and the diaphragm lifts up into the rib cage, there may be more space to turn. And if there's not more space, you just stay where you are and you breathe again. One more inhale. Exhale all the way back to center. Release that. Virabhadrasana 2. You're going to come onto your seat. Similar legs to the first Virabhadrasana we did at the beginning of practice. You're going to bring your left foot to the outside of your left hip. Okay? And then some of you are just going to put your right foot on your knee. And the next step is to bring the right heel into your pelvis. It's a deep flexion of the right knee. And then if you're okay here and you want to go a little farther, you're going to bring the right foot into your hip crease for a half lotus pose. So if you decide to take this, it shouldn't hurt your ankle and it shouldn't hurt your knee. Your seat is steady and comfortable. If this is not steady and comfortable, yeah, you just stay right here. And one side may be different than the other, okay? We're going to take the right arm behind the back and reach for the left hip or maybe even those toes if you can find them. And your left hand's going to come across your body to your right knee. With the arm against the lower back, remember to lift up and move your collarbones away. And the final rotation here is to keep your chest turning to the right, but now turn your gaze to the left. Chin towards your left shoulder. And you guys haven't made me mention it at all because you're all like looking really fantastic, but we want to notice if the head falls forward. None of you are doing that. One more deep breath in. And then release. Extend your right leg long and your left leg long. Dandasana. Lift your chest up. Good, and then right heel to the outside of the right hip. Left foot to the knee, stage 1. To the pubic bone, stage 2. And that deep flexion is really important if you're going to be able to go into lotus. And from here, if you want to, that left foot finds the bikini line. Okay. Yeah, it's nice to take an assessment. Like some days you might be like, yeah, and some days you might be like, no, not a good idea. Okay. Take your left arm behind you. See what you get. Right hand on your knee. Good. From the stability of the ground, lift the chest up. Turn the chest to the left. And then turn the cervical spine, neck, chin to the right. 3 big breaths. Good, extend everything out long. The last seated twist we're going to take today is Marichyasana 3. And the reason we're doing this one is because it really helps you feel how the pelvis can help you twist. So, deep flexion of the right knee. Pull the heel in as close to your sit bone as you can. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand behind us and turn to the right. Okay. And you can hook the leg with the arm here. And now, you might just be turning your ribs. Or, if you're turning your pelvis as well, it's going to feel like your left leg pushing forward a little bit. Some of you are going to stay right here. Some of you might bring your left elbow to the outside of your knee and reach your arm up. Now notice if your collarbone starts to cave in. Some of you might even actually get your armpit, I cannot demo this, your armpit down onto the outside of your knee, and then you might even be able to grab your toes down there. If That's a bad idea. Stay where you can breathe. One more breath in. Great, and then switch legs. So the right leg is long. Deeply bend the left knee. And there's a little bit of space between your hand, your foot and your thigh. Okay, lift your chest. Turn to the left. Decide if you want to turn the hips as well. And just see where you go with the breath. Taking the movements at the end of the exhale. Good, one more breath. Exhale, come back to center. And now we're going to come onto our backs for bridge pose, please. After all of that twisting, back bending might feel really good because you've unleashed a lot of tension in your spine, especially your thoracic spine, your upper back. But for some of you, it may have been a little overwhelming and your body might be kind of angry at the idea of back bending right now. All right, so wherever you are, honor where you are today. It's not about creating shape in the body. It's about meeting the moment. Press into your heels, lift your pelvis up. Back bending has a lot of similarities to twisting, and that's one of the reasons I usually teach it right after twisting, the next month after twisting. I don't know yet, I'm still undecided about what's happening next. But right now, you're creating stability through the legs so the pelvis can freely rotate back away from the thighs. You have evenness through your spine, your lower back, mid-back, and upper back. Your collarbones are nice and broad. Take another inhale here. Lower yourself all the way down to rest. Good, and then go back up again. Stay in bridge, or go ahead and move into wheel pose if that feels right in your body. Again, it may feel really, really possible, and it may feel like a terrible idea based on the twisting practice. When you're ready, lower yourself all the way down. 2 more. Go back up. Some days you may not want to hold a pose. You may want to go up and down and up and down. That's dynamic practice, and that's totally legit. Some days you may not want to come down when I tell you to. You can hold these poses for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Totally fine. One more breath. And lower yourself all the way down. And now we normally do 4 back bends. I'm going to cue us to the last one. But again, if your body's done, please honor that today. If you're ready, go back up. We can only ever extend honor out to another as much as we're willing to extend honor out to ourselves. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. One more long breath in. Carissa, really nice Viparita Dandasana. Go ahead and come all the way down and rest. Okay. Heels together, knees apart. Supta Baddha Konasana. Just like after twisting, it's nice to give yourself a neutral spine and let everything calm down. Same with after back bending, which is spinal extension. And now you're returning to the natural curves of your spine. Feel the back of your pelvis, your sacrum bone, anchoring into the floor. And then you have your natural curve at your lower back, the lumbar spine. The thoracic spine and the rib cage are anchored to the ground. And the shoulders are anchored to the rib cage. Your cervical spine has its natural curve. And the back of your head resting on the mat. Together, take a long breath in. Open your mouth wide. Stay like this or extend your legs long. Final resting pose, Shavasana. At the end of a twisting practice, there's usually more ease and efficiency in your breathing. You may feel some stimulation in your belly. And you may feel a relief through your whole back body. If you enjoyed this practice, I hope you will practice it again. And if you're curious about how the body works, I hope you'll join us for Intentional Embodiment Yoga Teacher Training, which starts on October 3rd. Together, take one more breath in. Open your mouth wide. Bring your awareness back to your body on the ground. And let your awareness come back to the shape of your spine. Notice how the head is aligned with the shoulders here. Take a deep breath in. Mouth wide. And then those of you who are resting at home, please feel free to stay longer in Shavasana if you have time. And actually, for those of you in the studio, there's nothing else next, so if you want to continue to lay here, please feel free. If you're ready to move along, come to a seated position. And as you come into your seat, again, bring your awareness to your spine and see if you can recreate those natural curves. Lower back draws in, head is back aligned with the shoulders. For a lot of bodies, it's hard to sit like this on the ground with the lower back going in, and that's when you would sit on something if you were going to sit longer. Hands to your heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with us. May our practice be a benefit to everyone we meet and all beings everywhere. Together, one Om. Breathe in. Raise your thumbs to your brow. We bow to each other and say, Namaste. All right, really great work. Thanks for If you have any questions about your practice, please feel free to let me know, including you at home. If you have questions, you can put them right in the comment box there, and we'll answer them for you best we can. Remember, after a twisting practice, you may feel elated right now, and then you may feel awful in 12 hours or 24 hours. If you do, that's just a sign that you overdid it a little bit, so you can refine your practice from there. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.